Multnomah County Drainage District operates and maintains levees in compliance with federal standards to reduce flood risk for the areas behind the levees. Since 2015, Multnomah County Drainage District has seen a gradual increase in unhoused populations living and camping along its levees and interior drainage systems.
Housing costs, healthcare, and other factors have led to an increase in homelessness all across the United States. Here in Portland, we've actually seen that result in more activity on our levee system and flood protection systems.
Unfortunately, there's just been a constant increase in houseless population, and with that it causes damage to our infrastructure. There's just a large amount of trash, debris, human waste.
People are unintentionally create damages to the systems that often may cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to repair. And then people are also put in positions where they're at an increased flood risk because they're living near waterways or in low-lying areas that are usually more susceptible to flooding.
And it really causes an issue, and it doesn't allow us to get our job done.
So historically, we relied heavily on the sheriff's office, and then also recognized that was perpetuating some of the trauma that some of these communities already experience.
At the beginning of my time on the team, it seemed like we were getting called quite often by the drainage district to go out and remove folks, and the issue there is, okay, we post them, and we do try to talk and engage with folks, and well, they just move right over here to another section of either their own property or property that they're managing and maintaining. And they're just constantly being shuffled around, and we're reposting the same individuals over and over again.
What we concluded is we needed to take more proactive engagement and try to be part of the solution in a collaborative way.
In order to address this issue, the district developed a Houseless Coordination Program that prioritizes outreach and engagement with these communities.
Throughout that outreach, we ended up finding Cascadia Behavioral Health that have focus on kind of mental health services, and also can provide transition for people into permanent housing.
At one point, the conversation began about, what if we have dedicated outreach? And so I think that became part of how this whole partnership came about, the dedicated outreach. And so our team, as we were kind of already out here, we were willing to place someone on the ground specifically for this area.
I think one of the most important things that I've done as a clinician is going out there week after week, having multiple interactions with people, building trust, building rapport, so that in the case of such as like the high water incidents that we've seen throughout the last couple years, if I go down and say, hey folks, there is going to be a flood here, you need to get out of here for your safety, because I've built that rapport, all of a sudden they believe me and will trust that I'm telling them the truth, and will then move out of that area willingly without too much of a struggle, which helps with their safety and then the drainage district's ability to manage that whole flood incident.
We actually did weekly coordination calls, and so we would be talking with our operations crew and Cascadia staff and be telling them what the operations would look like for the week and which areas we were going to be doing any type of mowing or maintenance work. And that outreach worker would go out in advance to those particular areas and communicate with people about what to expect.
I think the biggest thing with the program that it's helped is not only increasing relationships throughout all the stakeholders in the region, but it also has allowed us to get our work done more. There's examples of our mowing program where we do vegetation management, and it's a lot of dangerous stuff. It's really tall grass, and in the local region in Oregon and Washington, people from the Houseless community have lost their lives in the last year or two, doing the exact same type of stuff that we do. Being able to have an outreach worker out, getting out ahead of our guys, understanding our work plan, our workflow, and seeing the real vulnerable areas has been major for us.
Another challenge we faced was trying to keep track of all of the different activity that on the ground. And people are constantly moving, and so What we did is we worked with our GIS technician and our operations manager to develop an app. The collector app served as something that we could track the location of individuals and any specific information on the field. So the outreach worker would be able to geolocate where communities were present and any information that would be important for our operations team to know. So I think the biggest lesson learned for us was the value of collaboration and relationship building through coordination with partners and agencies that have different abilities and areas of expertise. We're able to tackle a complicated issue in a way that allowed us to focus on our work and allowed people to also focus on their priorities.